Hello students, welcome to the lecture on Principles of Management, and after this lecture we will be able to learn the following objectives. Explain the concept of management, understand the nature of significance of management, define Fayol's principles of management, and discuss on Taylor's scientific management. Let us begin with our lecture. Every human being has several needs and desires, but no individual can satisfy all his wants. Therefore, people work together to meet their mutual needs which they cannot fulfill individually. Moreover, man is a social being as he likes to live together with other people. It is by working and living together in organized groups and institutions that people satisfy their economic and social needs. As a result, there are several types of groups, example, family, school, government, army, a business firm, a cricket team, and the like. Such formal groups can achieve their goals effectively only when the efforts of the people working in these groups are properly coordinated and controlled. The task of getting results through others by coordinating their efforts is known as management. Just as the mind coordinates and regulates all the activities of a person, management coordinates and regulates the activities of various members of an organization. A principle refers to a fundamental truth. It establishes cause and effect relationship between two or more variables under given situation. They serve as a guide to thought and actions. Therefore, management principles are the statements of fundamental truth based on logic which provides guidelines for managerial decision making and actions. These principles are derived on the basis of observation and analysis, that is practical experience of managers, by conducting experimental studies. Let us now understand the concept of management. Management is considered a process because it involves a series of interrelated functions. Management as an activity. Management is an activity just like playing, studying, teaching, etc. As an activity, management has been defined as the art of getting things done through the efforts of other people. Management is a group activity wherein managers do to achieve the objectives of the group. The activities of management are interpersonal activities, decisional activities, informative activities. Management is considered a process because it involves a series of interrelated functions. It consists of getting the objectives of an organization and taking steps to achieve objectives. The management process includes planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling functions. Management as a process has the following implication. Social process. Management involves interactions among people. Goals can be achieved only when relations between people are productive. Human factor is the most important part of the management. Integrated process. Management brings human, physical, and financial resources together to put into effort. Management also integrates human effort so as to maintain harmony among them. Continuous process. Management involves continuous identifying and solving problems. It is repeated every now and then till the goal is achieved. Interactive process. Managerial functions are contained within each other. For example, when a manager prepares plans, he is also laying down standards for control. Management as an economic resource like land, labor, and capital. Management is an important factor of production. Management occupies a central place among productive factors as it combines and coordinates all other resources. Management as a team, as a group of persons. Management consists of all those who have the responsibility of guiding and coordinating the efforts of other persons. These persons are called as managers who operate at different levels of authority: top, middle, operating. Some of these managers have ownership stake in their firms, while others have become managers by virtue of their training and experience. Civil servants and defense personnel who manage public sector undertakings are also part of the management team. As a group, managers have become an elite class in society, occupying position with enormous power and prestige. Management as an academic discipline. Management has emerged as a specialized branch of knowledge. It comprises principles and practices for effective management of organization. Management has become as very popular field of study as is evident from the great rush for admissions into institutes of management. Management offers a very rewarding and challenging career. Management as a group. Management means the group of persons occupying managerial position. It refers to all those individuals who perform managerial functions or the manager's example, chief executive, managing director, departmental heads, supervisor, and so on are collectively known as management. For example, when one remarks that the management of Reliance Industries Limited is good, he is referring to the person who are managing the company. There are several types of managers which are listed as under. Family managers who have become managers by virtue of their being owners or relatives of the owners of a company. Professional managers who have been appointed on account of the degree or diploma in management. Civil servants who manage public sector undertakings. Managers have become a very powerful and respected group in modern society. This is because the senior managers of companies take decisions that affect the lives of a large number of people. For example, if the managers of Reliance Industries Limited decide to expand production, it will create jobs for thousands of people. Managers also help to improve the social life of the public and the economic progress of the country. Senior managers also enjoy a high standard of living in society. They have therefore become an elite group in the society. Let's move on to our next topic, that is nature and significance of management. Management is not an end in itself. It is a means to achieve certain goals. Management has no justification to exist without goals. Management goals are called group goals or organizational goals. The basic goal of management is to ensure efficiency and economy in the utilization of human, physical, and financial resources. The success of management is measured by the extent to which the established goals one achieved. Thus, management is purposeful. The salient features which highlight the nature of management are as follows. Management is universal. Management is an essential element of every organized activity, irrespective of the size or type of activity. Wherever two or more persons are engaged in working for a common goal, management is necessary. All types of organization, example, family, club, university, government, army, cricket team or business require management. Thus, management is a pervasive activity. The fundamental principles of management are applicable in all areas of organized effort. Managers at all levels perform the same basic function. Management is an integrative force. The essence of management lies in the coordination of individual efforts into a team. Management reconciles the individual goals with organizational goals. As a unifying force, management creates a whole that is more than the sum of individual parts. It integrates human and other resources. Management is a social process. Management is done by people, through people and for people. It is a social process because it is concerned with interpersonal relationship. Human factor is the most important element in management. According to Apply, management is the development of people, not the direction of things. A good manager is a leader, not a boss. It is the pervasiveness of human element which gives management its special character as a social process. Management is multidisciplinary. Management has to deal with human behavior under dynamic condition. Therefore, it depends upon wide knowledge derived from several disciplines like engineering, sociology, psychology, economics, anthropology, etc. The vast body of knowledge in management draws heavily upon other fields of study. Management is a continuous process. Management is a dynamic and ongoing process. The cycle of management continues to operate so long as there is organized action for the achievement of group goals. Management is intangible. Management is an unseen or invisible force. It cannot be seen, but its presence can be felt everywhere in the form of results. However, the manager who perform the functions of management are very much tangible and visible. Management is an art as well as science. It contains a systematic body of theoretical knowledge and it also involves a practical application of such knowledge. Management is also a discipline involving specialized training and an ethical code arising out of its social obligation. On the basis of these characteristics, management may be defined as a continuous social process involving the coordination of human and material resources in order to accomplish desired objectives. It involves both the determination and the accomplishment of organizational goals. Let us discuss Taylor's principle. Division of work. Work should be divided among individuals and groups to ensure that effort and attention are focused on special portions of the task. Fayol presented work specialization as the best way to use the human resources of the organization. Authority. The concept of authority and responsibility are closely related. Authority was defined by Fayol as a right to give orders and the power to exact obedience. Responsibility involves being accountable and is therefore naturally associated with authority. Whoever assumes authority also assumes responsibility. Discipline. A successful organization requires a common effort of workers. Penalties should be applied judiciously to encourage this common effort. Unity of command. Workers should receive orders from only one manager. Unity of direction. The entire organization should be moving towards a common objective in a common direction. Subordination of individual interest to the general interest. The interests of one person should not take priority over the interests of the organization as a whole. Remuneration. Many variables such as cost of living, supply of qualified personnel, general business condition, and success of the business should be considered in determining a worker's rate of pay. Centralization. Fayol defines centralization as lowering the importance of the subordinate role. Decentralization is increasing the importance. The degree to which centralization or decentralization should be adopted depends on the specific organization in which the manager is working. Scalar chain. Manager in hierarchies are part of a chain like authority scale. Each manager from the first line supervisor to the president possesses certain amounts of authority. The president possesses the most authority, the first line supervisor the least. Lower level managers should always keep upper level managers informed of their work activities. The existence of a scalar chain and adherence to it are necessary if the organization is to be successful. Order. For the sake of efficiency and coordination, all materials and people related to a specific kind of work should be treated as equally as possible. Equity. All employees should be treated as equally as possible. Stability of tenure of personnel. Retaining productive employees should always be a high priority of management. Recruitment and selection costs as well as increased product reject rates are usually associated with hiring new workers. Initiative management should repeat. Initiative Management should take steps to encourage worker initiative, which is defined as new or additional work activity undertaken through self-direction. Spirits de corps. Management should encourage harmony and general good feelings among employees. Now we will discuss about Taylor's scientific management. One of the earliest of these theorists was Frederick Winslow Taylor. He started a scientific management movement, and he and his associates were the first people to study the work process scientifically. They studied how work was performed, and they looked at how this affected worker productivity. In 1909, Taylor published the Principles of Scientific Management. In this, he proposed that by optimizing and simplifying jobs, productivity would increase. He also advanced the idea that workers and managers needed to cooperate with one another. This was very different from the way work was typically done in businesses beforehand. A factory manager at that time had very little contact with the workers, and he left them on their own to produce the necessary product. There was no standardization, and a worker's main motivation was often continued employment, so there was no incentive to work as quickly or as efficiently as possible. Taylor's philosophy focused on the belief that making people work as hard as they could was not as efficient as optimizing the way the work was done. Taylor's principles are as follows: development of science for each part of man's job, replacement of rule of thumb. This principle suggests that work assigned to any employee should be observed, analyzed with respect to each and every element and part and time involved in it. Scientific selection, training and development of workers. There should be scientifically designed procedure for the selection of workers. Coordination between management and workers, or harmony, not discord. Taylor believed in cooperation and not individualism. It is only through cooperation that the goals of the enterprise can be achieved efficiently. Division of responsibility. This principle determines the concrete nature of roles to be played by a different level of managers and workers. Management should assume the responsibility of planning the work, whereas workers should be concerned with execution of tasks. Mental revolution. The workers and managers should have a complete change of outlook towards their mutual relation and work effort. It requires that management should create suitable working conditions and solve all problems scientifically. Maximum prosperity for employer and employees. The aim of scientific management is to see maximum prosperity for employer and employees. It is important only when there is opportunity for each worker to attain his highest efficiency. Time study. It is a technique which enables the manager to ascertain standard time taking for performing a specified job. Every job or every part of it is studied in detail. This technique is based on the study of an average worker having reasonable skill and ability. Average worker is selected and assigned the job, and then with the help of a stopwatch, time is ascertained for performing that particular job. Taylor maintained that a fair day's work should be determined through observation, experiment and analysis by keeping in view an average worker. Standard time into working hours equal to fair day's work. Motion study. In this study, movement of body and limbs required to perform a job are closely observed. In other words, it refers to the study of movement of an operator on machine involved in a particular task. The purpose of motion study is to eliminate useless motions and determine the best way of doing the job. By undertaking motion study, an attempt is made to know whether some elements of a job can be eliminated, combined, or their sequence can be changed to achieve necessary rhythm. Motion study increases the efficiency and productivity of workers by cutting down all wasteful motions. Functional foremanship. Taylor advocated functional foremanship for achieving ultimate specification. This technique was developed to improve the quality of work, as single supervisor may not be an expert in all the aspects of the work. Therefore, workers are to be supervised by specialist foremen. The scheme of functional foremanship is an extension of principle of specialization at the supervisory level. Taylor advocated appointment of 8 foremen, 4 at planning level and other 4 at implementation level. Standardization. It implies the physical attitude of production should be such that it meets the requirements and needs of customers. Taylor advocated that tools and equipments as well as working conditions should be standardized to achieve standard output from workers. Standardization is a means of achieving economics of production. Differential piece wage plan. This technique of wage payment is based on efficiency of worker. The efficient workers are paid more wages than inefficient one. On the other hand, those workers who produce his efficiencies. This system is a source of incentive to workers to improving their efficiency in order to get more wages. It also encourages inefficient workers to less than standard number of pieces are paid wages at lower rate than prevailing rate, that is, worker is penalized for improve their performance and achieve their standards. It leads to mass production which minimizes costs and maximizes profits. Other techniques. Various other techniques have been developed to create ordeal relationship between management and workers and also to create better understanding on part of works. Those includes use of instruction cards, strict rules and regulation, graphs, slides, charts, etc. so as to increase efficiency of workers. Now in the end, let us summarize what we have learned in this lecture. Fayol and others like him are responsible for building the foundation of modern management theory. Management is considered a process because it involves a series of interrelated functions. It consists of getting the objectives of an organization and taking steps to achieve objectives. On the basis of these characteristics, management may be defined as a continuous social process involving the coordination of human and material resources in order to accomplish desired objectives. Management should encourage harmony and general good feelings among employees. Taylor believed that all workers were motivated by money, so he pronounced the idea of a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. In other words, if a worker did not achieve enough in a day, he did not deserve to be paid as much as another worker who was highly productive.